It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Welcome to another episode of Wednesday Toast, a podcast about comic book stuff, where we talk about all kinds of comic book related stuff. My name is Lex, also known as Wednesday Pool, and I'm here with my co-host Simon, who is also known as Simon Toast. Simon, how are you doing?
I'm good. Also, the Toastmaster General.
Yeah,
If you didn't notice,
yeah.
I'm good.
Before we get into the episode, I'm glad I didn't even listen to see if you were. I know you're
It's
good
fine.
already. I guess that I need to
Yeah.
other people to know you're good.
I don't give a shit. Anyway, let's go.
I put out a question online the other day asking what our audience should be called. We used to call them pull heads, and that's only because Murph in the early days he would just say that all the time. I don't know why he would. I don't know where he got it from. He just would say it, and then it kind of stuck, and it never made sense. So obviously couldn't carry that over since it was pull related. So I asked people, and a lot of them said a lot of toast related stuff. So a lot of people said toasties, but I know that that's your Instagram community, so I didn't want to. I didn't want to jack that.
You didn't want it to belong to me, is what you're saying.
No, I wanted us to have our own thing.
Yeah.
And so I did some just was thinking about related words and came up with the crumb bums. So
I like it.
if you're listening to this, you're a crumb bum, and if you're subscribed, if not, you can't officially call yourself that. We will sue you and take everything you own.
Yeah, you're a morsel.
Yeah,
but if you subscribe, then you can be a crumb bum.
yeah, we got a lot of subscribers in this past week, and I would love to say it's because of the merit of the show, but it was really some manipulation on my part on the internet. So sorry if you got tricked. If you really do want one of my crappy comics, send me your address, and I'll send you a bunch.
Don't say a bunch.
I hope you like
just a few.
I will send you a bunch. I hope you like random Excalibur books. Do you remember that Gru the Barbarian? It's like Groo.
Yeah, no.
I got a lot of those for some reason.
I had US1. I remember Dustin gave me a big stack. He gave me like the entire run of US1. Do you remember that comic?
I do remember that. I don't know anything about it, but I do. I just remember the like the logo.
It's about a guy that gets in a truck accident and then he becomes like bionically bonded to his semi truck.
Dang, we need to bring that back. Who owns the rights to that?
Marvel. I think and he kind of looks like me. I mean, as in it's just a white guy with blue eyes and blonde hair, but anyway.
Yeah, there's no chance we're getting the rights to that.
Maybe.
Thanks, Marvel.
Maybe Sony will make a movie out of it.
Well, I say that. Yeah, we're not going to talk about Madam Web because Simon is not going to go see it. We're going to have to force him to go see it. People don't sell bootlegs like they used to. I remember when I was younger, they would sell bootleg DVDs like everywhere.
Yeah, they were selling.
They don't do that anymore.
They were selling them in New York, man.
Yeah, since the internet exists now, I guess they really put a hurting on the bootleg game.
Yeah, what do you mean the mean streets of Wichita Falls? Down in the mean streets of Wichita Falls, where I was getting all my fucking bootlegs.
I don't even mean that. Just mean that's how it was everywhere, even in our Pleasantville town that we're from. People just had them. I remember we watched Star Wars Episode 3 at school months before it came out in theaters. You remember that?
No. Where did we watch?
There?
I might have been. I was
in choir.
I don't really remember. Yeah, I mean, don't really remember. Did we watch it in like one of the rehearsal rooms or something?
No, I think we watched it in the main room. It was like the last week of school.
Yeah, I don't know.
You were probably skipping, riding your motorcycle around town, popping wheelies and stuff.
I didn't have a motorcycle until college.
You had a cool Blazer though.
I did. I guess it was like an S10 Blazer.
That's a cool car, man.
I miss that car. I could do anything in that car. I didn't give a shit.
Yikes. This is PG, man.
No, I mean, like, I would, like, drive it. Like, I didn't care.
The ladies would do whatever I wanted.
Terrible.
That is hilarious. So I talked about Marvel not giving us the rights to US1 because they don't really share. They're not very good at doing crossovers like in the '90s.
Mhm.
And I mainly say that because I've always wanted a Daredevil and TMNT crossover because it just makes sense.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that would just print money because
It's
the
easy.
characters are so closely related, and
Yeah.
people love Daredevil and people love Ninja Turtles. The story writes itself. It could be subpar, and you have a good artist on it, it would sell like hotcakes.
Yeah.
I don't know
Or
who buys hotcakes, but it would sell pretty well.
or even a bad artist,
But they don't do
really.
it.
Even a bad
Yeah,
artist
it's
like
true.
Kevin Eastman.
That's true. I've grown to like his style, but I agree. Yeah.
For
But DC,
nostalgia, yeah.
they cross over with everybody a lot.
Mhm.
TMNT specifically. Marvel doesn't do that anymore. I don't know what happened. I would love to do some research and find out what happened with that.
Who hurt you, you know? Who hurt you,
Yeah,
Marvel?
come on, man. What was it? Specifically, DC and Marvel used to cross over a lot, which was always fun. I remember being a kid and thinking it was the best thing ever when these two companies would cross over their characters.
Can I say something real quick? I know why.
Yeah.
It's
Why?
because, like, DC is owned by Warner Brothers and they do okay or whatever, but Marvel is so controlling because they're up until recently, their like movie universe was doing so well. They're like, we don't want to tarnish this by crossing over
Yeah.
with anything.
Yeah.
Maybe that's theory.
Yeah, I can see that. But now they're on the back of their backs against the walls. People are turning on them.
Yeah. Like every
All the
day.
woke, all the woke, all the woke nonsense they're putting out.
Yeah. Who? Ugh, gross.
That's a joke for a new listener. What's
Yeah.
happening are not those guys. We are mocking them.
Yeah.
And if you are one of those guys, probably shouldn't listen to the show. We're gonna
Yeah.
make fun of you quite a bit over the course of this show. So Marvel and DC used to cross over all the time. There was one specifically that I loved. It was Green Lantern and Silver Surfer. Kyle Rayner Green Lantern. I loved it so much, man. And I've always wanted them to reprint sort of the Marvel versus DC. We did a review on our old show, the JLA Avengers crossover. They recently reprinted that, and so we got a copy of that. And we got to review it. That was fun. It just had me wanting more. Amalgam was crazy because they did Marvel versus DC. Their universes fused together, and then they had these like wild characters: Dark Claw, Super Soldier.
Yeah. Wow.
They only did one issue. They only did one issue per story, so I've always wanted more, and I do have most of them, but I've always wanted a collected edition. And recently, Marvel and DC announced that they are reprinting them. So I thought that we would take this episode to sort of just talk about it, man.
Let's talk about it.
Catch up. It's trending. There was a show that reached out to us, and maybe in a few weeks, few months, we're going to do a crossover with Comic Book Keepers, where we go through the amalgam books, but that's a little further down the line, probably closer to when this releases. So for now, we'll just talk about Marvel versus DC.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's do. I wish there was like some sort of Marvel DC song that we could play, but
Marvel versus DC. You remember that good shit? There you go.
and you have not read this, or you don't remember reading this, correct?
I certainly don't remember it. Yeah. I may have. I remember looking at covers of a lot of these. But
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't know how to read until I was in college. So
DC versus Marvel, Marvel versus DC. They were both of those. I think issue 1 and 4. That this is not important, right?
Mm.
Issue 1 and 4 was DC versus Marvel, and 2 and 3 were Marvel versus DC because they just couldn't.
Yeah,
They both had to have a turn of being first.
it's like The Rock. He can't lose in a fight or whatever. You got those kind of
Yeah,
contractual
yeah.
obligations.
So this came out. This 4-issue run was between February and May of 1996. I was a wee lad back then.
Mm-hmm.
Just cutting grass to save up quarters to not quarters. So I didn't live in the
Yeah,
Great
jeez.
Depression, but
Let's get
save up
nickels.
money to go buy comic books. 1996. Written by Ron Mars and Peter David. The art was by Dan Jurgens and Claudio Castellini.
Hmm.
It's pretty self-explanatory. The superheroes from Marvel fight against the DC superheroes. And Simon, this is one of your favorite tropes in comic books is like heroes fighting heroes
Without
instead of
communication.
just saying like, "Hey, you guys are good guys too, right?" And they're
Yeah.
like, "Nah, we're just gonna punch each other for
Oh,
a few
wait.
issues, and then we'll figure."
Yeah. Hold on, smack. Hold on, smack.
Oh my gosh! So basically, the plot is two godlike brothers are the personification of Marvel and DC. One is red, one's blue. They're basically, like I said, they become aware of each other's existence and challenge each other to a series of duels using their most popular superheroes. The losing universe would cease to exist, right?
Yeah.
Fine. Like I said, pretty self explanatory. There were 11 battles. What was cool though is that at the time, you got to vote. So some of these battles were left to readers' votes in the issues of the comic books. I can't even remember what issues they were in, but they had a little checkbox where you can pick. And they only did half of them. I think there were 11 battles altogether. And let me think. Let me see if I have it right here. Which ones? Okay, 5 battles were determined by readers' votes: Superman versus the Hulk, Spider-Man versus Superboy, Batman versus Captain America, Wolverine versus Lobo, and Storm versus Wonder Woman.
I remember
Or
seeing a
fan
card.
votes.
Yeah, I remember seeing a card with Wolverine and Lobo where he was like spiking him in the penis.
I would love to get that card.
It
The
was
other
it was a
battles that
Sam
were
Keith. Sorry, it was a Sam Keith
was it?
drawing. Yeah, yeah.
Oh damn, that's kind of cool. I do like Sam Keith. I didn't when I was younger, but as I've matured, I've grown to like his style. The other battles were determined by the creative team: Aquaman versus Namor, Elektra versus Catwoman, The Flash versus Quicksilver, Robin versus Jubilee, Silver Surfer versus Green Lantern, which that was my favorite one
Mm-hmm.
in the entire book. Thor versus Captain Marvel. And it was like sexy Thor. He had the midriff,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
so he won by
Like
default.
90s football Thor.
Yeah, yeah. They also introduced a new character. His name was Access, and his main power was being able to go between the two universes.
Mm.
So he served as like sort of a conduit to, yeah, he was going to save the day pretty much. And they couldn't use that character. Neither one of the companies can use the character anymore because they both own the character. So it's like, he just doesn't exist
Yeah, not worth it.
anymore. So Simon and I are going to talk about some of these battles, what happened, who won, how they won. If we would do it different, it's because we don't want to go into like specifics. We just made fun of people that do that in a previous episode.
Yeah.
So we're not going to backpedal here. And then we're going to talk about some characters that we may put in a modern Marvel versus DC if we were the creative team. First up, we have Aquaman versus Namor the Submariner. Aquaman won by summoning a whale to leap out of the water and land on Namor. And since he was pinned down and unable to move, he was declared the loser. Aquaman wins. Ding ding ding.
Yeah. Wow.
What a what a silly
That's
way
like
to win, but also cartoony.
Yeah, that's like having a giant Pepsi sign fall on top of you and kill you.
Isn't Namor super strong though? I
Yeah.
mean, I guess a whale is a whale, but
You would I like the way they did it on the boys. It's like you would just puncture the whale like if you push
yeah,
through it.
he could fly.
Yeah. Well, it's that whole thing is like when the physics of Superman stopping a plane from crashing, where he would like again, they did that on the boys. He's like, I can't lift it. I would just break it in half, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but yeah, Namor is more of a badass character, right? He's like mean. He's scary.
Yeah, he's like the mean version of Aquaman.
I figured he would win that. That's a funny matchup.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of these characters are like counterparts, so it's almost a coin toss on who could win, right?
Was this the hook-handed Aquaman? Did that happen yet?
I think so.
So this was scarier, like rugged Aquaman.
So it was badass Aquaman that had his hand
Yeah.
chewed off by piranha. Next up, we have Elektra versus Catwoman. Didn't really see this one, but I guess they had to have more ladies in besides Storm and Wonder Woman. So, like, what other women do we have in
Yeah,
in
right.
comics right now? Elektra won by cutting off Catwoman's whip as she hung from sort of scaffolding, right?
Uh-huh.
But she survived. She didn't die. I was like, that sounds like she died.
Yeah.
Elektra is a murderer. She is an assassin, but she
Yeah.
survived by falling into a dumpster full of sand.
A
Hope
la
she didn't get ringworm.
Batman Returns.
Yeah,
Kitty
yeah,
Lady.
yeah. This is fine. You know,
Sure.
this is fine, right?
Mm.
Elektra should beat her. She's a trained assassin.
Yeah, she's
Catwoman
like
is just a thief.
a thief. Fucking thief.
She should have just beat the shit out of her. That should have been it.
And Elektra, I mean, like in most cases that I've read, she is a killer.
Yeah.
So
She should have did the
Catwoman
bullseye
is
thing and stabbed her with the
oh,
Raphael weapon right
that
in the right in the stomach.
that'd actually be really cool. That would be cool.
That would be cool. Next up, we have so the score is DC 1, Marvel 1.
Mm-hmm.
For all you at home that have never read this and are sitting on the end of your seats right now.
Yeah, just edge of your seat.
Next up, we have Flash versus Quicksilver. Flash won just because he was faster, man.
I actually do agree with that.
Yeah, so do I.
To me,
I just
Quicksilver is just a fast guy. He's like the wizard, you know.
yeah. Yeah, the Flash can go back in time. Let's just say if we're doing calculations and feats like the uber nerds on the internet, Flash has gone back in time how many times in his life? I've never
Who
heard of
knows? He
Quicksilver doing
keeps
it.
changing. He keeps changing it.
Yeah,
Who knows?
probably all the time. He probably does it for the most inconvenient things. And I've never seen Quicksilver do it, so Flash wins. I would probably agree with that one
He
too.
spilt his coffee. Go back in time before it happened.
Robin versus Jubilee was an interesting one because it's kind of lame. It's Tim Drake Robin versus Jubilee, and they really didn't fight, right? So all these characters had to fight to save their universe. That's the main trope, but they sort of started dating. I remember this one scene where they're just like sitting on her bed and they're like scrapbooking
Oh,
together.
that's why he tied her up. I see.
But then they had to fight, and he won. He tied her up, and he just claimed himself the victor,
Mm-hmm.
like a creep.
Like
So now we're sitting at DC 3, Marvel 1. Our Marvel boys are about to lose,
yeah.
and gals. Sorry.
So now we're moving to the Silver Surfer versus the Green Lantern of DC.
Yeah, it was Kyle Rayner too. So
the cool one.
He's about to do some sort of mech related armaments.
Mm-hmm.
And he did. It looks badass. I'll have to show you a picture of it later. But it wasn't badass enough because Silver Surfer won.
Yeah. But
so that also makes sense to me too. Silver Surfer is one of those top tier ultra powerful characters. And Green Lantern, while powerful,
yeah, I agree with
the space cop.
I agree with you. That also sounds kind of like, I'm sure the battle was more exciting, but the way he won.
Yeah, it was Green Lantern looked cool.
Each other.
He had like complete armor, and then he had this like mech horse that he was riding on, and then they charge at each other, explosion, and then when the dust settles, he's just laying on the front of Silver Surfer's board.
Hot.
And Silver Surfer wipes the silver sweat from his brow.
Nice.
It was hot.
It's hot.
Very, very, very hot. Next up, we have Thor versus Captain Marvel. Shazam. This was back when he was still called Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Thor won, right? This was actually a really good fight because Captain Marvel turned back into Billy. He got stuck like a building crashed on him or something, and he should be able to just like jump out of it with his super strength. I can't remember if it was that or the hammer was on top of him. That makes more sense.
Well,
But he turned back into Billy Batson,
uh, go ahead.
and before he could, and then Thor was like, "Oh my gosh, you're a kid. I don't want to fight you." But then he struck him, or he was going to transform, and then he controlled the lightning, and he punched him
Verily,
in the head.
thus young child. That actually sounds pretty cool, though. To
It
me,
was a good fight.
yeah. Even though with Shazam they use that a lot, that trick of him like you turn to Billy Batson and you're kind of effed. That still
Yeah,
sounds like a pretty exciting fight, and it's always interesting to me because that's his weakness is that he has a human child
yeah,
as an alter
and
ego.
he's a kid. Yeah, and this was cool because in this instance, Thor uses his power to intercept the lightning. You know, I agree with you. They use that a lot, but I like it when they. There's a few times that they do it well. Like in Kingdom Come, they do it really well, where he kind of weaponizes the lightning bolt, like where he's just hitting Superman over and over with it.
Yeah, yeah, I always enjoyed that. What they did that in one of the movies too, where he like has him, holds him, and just keeps
Yeah,
saying Shazam.
yeah,
Shit's tight.
great stuff, man.
Love it.
Not Zachary Levi, but the character Shazam is great.
First movie's okay. I had high hopes. Second movie, the
You,
Mrs. Shazam or whatever was had of my full attention.
yeah, they should just made the movie about her.
Yeah.
That was all of the creative team's decisions, which for the most part, yeah, I agree with all of them. Namor versus Aquaman, I don't see it, but also at the time, I don't think Namor was as popular as he is now. I think it was like full speedo, slick back hair,
Yeah.
Namor.
Yeah.
Nobody liked him
Elf
back
guy
then.
with
So
wing feet.
yeah, it was before he did anything cool. So that makes sense, I guess. Now the following battles are the readers' votes. Now you idiots voted on some of these battles, and I can't wait to really dig into these because I there's some that I refuse to accept.
Yeah.
First off, we have Superman versus Hulk. I love Superman. I do. I'm a huge Superman fan. I think he is the superhero, right? But I also really like the Hulk. And there's not a lot of characters that can beat Superman. I would say like a handful. I think the Hulk is one of them. Okay? The Hulk's power, when you talk about the Hulk's power,
Oof.
he gets
Putting on the
stronger.
tinfoil hat here.
Yeah, he gets stronger. It's very simple though. He gets stronger the angrier he gets. That's it. There's never a cap. No one has ever put a lid on that.
Mm-hmm.
He like lost his shit when he was fighting Onslaught in the 90s, and he beat Onslaught because he got so mad. They never put a cap. They never put a cap on it. So I feel like getting punched by Superman would just piss you off to the point where Superman's going to give up. And Superman was also beat by Doomsday.
Do you feel like there's a point? Yeah, I agree because I agree with you that I don't agree with that result because in my opinion, like the Hulk isn't one that would give up or ease up on somebody,
Mhm.
much like Doomsday. Um,
Yeah,
I mean, they ride him that way. They ease him up
yeah.
just so he's not like a pure villain. But
Mhm.
um, do you think that like Superman's fast enough to just like knock him out real quick and that's it?
Maybe, maybe. The only caveat I have for this one is that it was Professor Hulk.
Hmm.
So he was super intelligent. And he's one of the weaker Hulks because he doesn't get as pissed off.
Do you think
So
Superman could fly in his
and
mouth and just blow out of his stomach?
yeah, or just freeze breath him from the inside out. That's what I would do. Superman, Lex Luthor is right. Superman is a monster. It needs to be stopped. But it was mullet Superman, and he's like my second favorite Superman. So
It's a good
I'll
one.
accept it.
He's a pretty Superman.
It was a good fight though. It was illustrated very well. Loved it. So it's fine. I don't agree with it, but I'm also not against it. I like both of those characters.
I think with those, it's kind of like in Dragon Ball Z, you're like, why are you fighting on a planet? Because they're so
Yeah,
limitless that it would just blow up the planet. I think that that's really the
yeah,
limit of their power, both of
I agree. I agree.
them.
Next up, we have Marvel's flagship character, Spider-Man versus
Flagman.
Superboy. Superboy, another great two characters that I really enjoy. Specifically, this Spider-Man is Ben Riley with the spectacular Spider-Man suit. Top tier, man.
Mm,
But against Superboy, right? I
yeah.
love Spider-Man. But Superboy is like Superman, but younger.
Yeah, but Spider-Man has beat the Hulk
It's true. Somehow.
using the same thing, like the spider sense and
Yeah.
like agility.
Yeah. And this was just kind of like, dude, he just what?
The
And I
webbing
know
is
Superboy's
hard to.
I know Spider-Man Superboy's powers are different than Superman's. He has instead of like super strength, he has tactile telekinesis. So that's how he lifts things up.
I thought that's
It's just
what's.
another
I thought Superman was kind of telekinesis based as well.
yeah. They stopped doing that with Superman though. They just said he's just strong. He can do everything.
I see.
He's the perfect person.
Yeah.
That's it. So yeah, they're fighting on top of a rooftop, and Ben hits him with those impact webbings that he was. I loved it. You know, he had come up with the outside web shooters, and he had different sort of versions of them. He had an impact webbing, which were these balls like BBs that would hit someone and then explode.
Uh,
And so he hit Superboy with a couple of those right next to this like high voltage transformer and killed him, man. He died.
dead. That's
It didn't kill him, but he knocked his circular glasses off, and therefore he loses. This one, the next one is Batman versus Captain America. Let's just let's just think back to when we reviewed Justice League versus Avengers. They fight on the rooftop, and Batman himself says we're evenly matched, right? We can go toe to toe, but he will eventually beat me because he has stamina, right? He's not getting tired. I am just a regular dude. I will get tired. He'll beat me. That happened. Fact. Fictional fact. Imaginary fact. This one was so I don't really know how this was voted, right? But they're fighting in a sewer system. I need to read this.
Yeah,
See,
knocks
it
him
says
off
that
balance.
Batman, yeah, Captain America throws his shield, Batman throws his batarang. Both of them hit, but then the sewer system has this wave crashes down on top of them. Apparently, they don't show who the victor is, but they show Batman pulling Captain America out. And so I guess since Batman saved Captain America, he wins.
I guess that's one way to end it. By chance.
They couldn't they couldn't specifically say Batman beats Captain America because it doesn't make sense.
No. I mean, prep time. It would have been
Yeah,
nice. I feel
they
like
have fought before.
that was kind of before prep time, maybe. Before that became like
Yeah.
a super thing. I think that was like all-star Batman that really popularized that whole idea. It's like him being an
Yeah, with him
asshole.
like painting the whole room yellow and then beating the shit out of Hal Jordan.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I don't think that they're evenly matched though. I mean, in intelligence and yeah, no way are they evenly
No,
matched.
I don't think they're evenly matched either. Mainly because like they're exchanging punches, and whether they're blocking or not, Captain America has super strength.
Yeah.
So it's like I say this anytime we talk about fighting Batman or defeating Batman, just punch him in the mouth. And then it's just like cherry pie leaks out leaks out of his eye holes.
Or just yeah, you could cut his fucking head off with that shield, man.
Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah. Yeah. So Batman won. I'm lost. We're not keeping score anymore. Sorry, guys. If you were
Yeah.
at home tallying it up on your
Look
whiteboard.
at so many people just screamed out in pain. I felt it.
No. Wolverine versus Lobo, which was a weird one. Lobo cannot die. Like, I don't know how much you know about Lobo. It's impossible to kill him. He's the main man, right? But Wolverine is another one of Marvel's poster children. So he's not going to lose.
Hmm.
I feel like even if it was voted against, there's no way he was going to lose. So in this fight, I would imagine this would be a good fight. I would love to see a full issue of them just ripping each other apart and then coming back together. It just would never end.
Does Lobo heal like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can cut his head off and he'd still be talking to you, and then he could reform himself.
See, I've always wondered that. Sidebar. I've always wondered that about Wolverine. You know, the age old is like if you cut his head off, would his body heal with another head, or would his head completely grow a new body? Could there be two Wolverines?
Probably. They should do that in the book. I know in the Ultimate Hulk versus Wolverine, his head gets ripped off by Hulk, and Nick Fury has it, and it's just like sitting on the desk, and he's talking to him.
How would you do that without lungs?
Don't know.
Somebody explain that.
I don't know.
I think
Wolverine.
I think I remember that, and that's the way I would see it. It's like the same with Deadpool. Like the head could be cut off, and maybe the body would die, but the head would stay and eventually
And
grow.
then, yeah, as long as the brain was intact. But even then, like we've seen issues of Wolverine getting burnt all the way down to the bone,
Hmm.
him still being alive, and then regrowing everything.
He can regrow from like a single cell
Yeah,
in some instances, right?
like so.
Like so, yeah, yeah.
So this happens. It's just like they meet each other in a bar and they wrestle. They go behind the bar, and then Wolverine comes out on top,
They were like,
smoking a cigar.
who are our two hairy guys? We need to have them fight.
Yeah, can you imagine the aroma from that bar? Probably make you want to barf. Storm versus Wonder Woman. So in the battle of Thor versus Shazam, the hammer gets knocked back, right? He loses it. He's for a second. In that second, because I mean, all of this is happening at once. It's not like they're not waiting for people to fight and then they're going to fight next. Like it's not a tournament.
Yeah.
It's all happening all at the same time. So Thor's hammer drops. Wonder Woman picks it up, and then she is worthy. So she becomes like this Thor like character, which we've all seen Storm get blasted out of the sky a zillion times.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell she's about to beat Wonder Woman.
Well, it's mostly with
Um,
lasers, not lightning somewhere. Oh!
yeah. But Wonder Woman is so worthy that she realizes that she would win without a doubt. So she drops the hammer to to fight her fair and square, and then Storm beat the shit out of her. So Storm won.
By using the one thing that she would have been fine if she had just even held on to the hammer. She would have been okay.
Yeah, beat the shit out of her. So that's it, man. And then to stop the universes from one of the universes getting destroyed, Access uses his powers to combine them together
Hmm.
into the amalgam universe, and that will be a future episode where we'll actually read the issues. I think talking to that other podcast where they're going to cover some of the issues, 6 of them, and then we'll cover 6 of them. So that'll be cool.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of the amalgam books you actually have read.
I've never read any of them. I know the characters, but I've never read any
I
of
think
them.
I think you'd get a kick out of the Dark Claw one. I loved that book when I was a kid, man.
Of course, he was 90s extreme.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting though that they fought or that they didn't fight, but they become
Yeah.
amalgamated.
Most of them, because there's like Iron Man and
Green Lantern.
Green Lantern,
I always thought that one was cool. Yeah.
Shazam and Captain Marvel, which made sense then because it was just Captain Marvel and Captain Marvel.
Hmm.
And yeah, there's a lot of strange characters. Superman and Captain America
That would
didn't
that
make sense.
yeah, that fight wouldn't
That
make
doesn't make
sense.
sense.
Though it would, I mean, with his shield, he wouldn't be fast enough, but with the vibranium shield, it's a possibility that Superman just knocks himself out.
Yeah, it's true.
That could be
That's true.
that could be a funny one-sided quick fight.
Yeah, that would be funny. Yeah, that's Marvel versus DC. Great book. I can't wait to get the collected edition and just to thumb through it again. Like I said, I have a lot of these issues because it's one of those things that people don't care about until people start caring about it. So you could find a lot of these issues probably still in dollar bins. Like
Yeah.
I posted a picture the other day. A lot of the amalgam books were in dollar bins, and people were like, Where's that at?" And I'm like, "They're right here. Give me $7. I'll buy all of them for you." Oh man, that's it. Marvel versus DC. I'm really excited. Maybe we'll get a. They should make a game. Make a video game.
Yeah.
James Gunn is Access, and he's going to combine the two universes together and make an amalgam movie. And that's probably be my jumping off point. I'll watch all of those, but after that, I'm like,
Yeah. Done with comic book
I'm
movies.
done.
Got the perfect ones.
I'm done. All right. So if you had to pick some characters to put in a modern setting, modern Marvel versus DC, does any pair come to mind?
I think some of these would be interesting by just the evolution of comics that have happened since this event. So,
Yeah.
I think that seeing Superman versus the a different version of the Hulk, like the World War Hulk, World Buster Hulk, or whatever you want to call him, or even like uh the Immortal Hulk. You know how kind of crazy that is. I think
Yeah.
because at the time, like you said, like that with Smart Hulk, it's kind of not really even the same thing. I don't know. So,
Yeah.
uh,
I think if I
yeah, go ahead.
one that one that really comes to mind for me that I would love to see, and I don't know how this would necessarily work. I mean, I get they could do it in a cool way, but Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099, and Batman Beyond.
Hmm.
I don't know how, like it's obviously a future story, so you would have to like rope them into the modern time or whatever. I mean, they could do it because you know, they're merging universes anyways. But I just think those two together, something that needs to happen.
Yeah, that's a cool idea for sure.
That'd probably be my most anticipated.
Anticipated. Yeah.
That'd probably be my most anticipated one. Now, there's a lot of people. I asked this question online, and a lot of people responded. I did not have time to go through all of them, but there were some really cool ones. And I'm with Simon. Like I said, I think a lot of these fights that we already went over in Marvel versus DC would be cool to see again in a modern setting,
Yeah,
like Aquaman versus Namor, like we talked about.
or Wolverine and his hot claws versus Lobo.
Yeah, hot claws.
His hot butter claws.
I would like to see sort of a Batman versus Iron Man. Iron Man rose to popularity more than he was back then. They're both billionaires
That would be good.
that have prep time.
Super smart. Yeah.
Because that's pretty much Iron Man's power too. He builds an armor to beat anybody in any setting ever.
Yeah, and I wonder Spider-Man. I feel like has to have some kind of matchup. I think actually Spider-Man versus Robin might be all right, even though Robin's not super powered. It could still be kind of neat.
Or Nightwing.
Yeah, well, same thing.
I'm not Robin anymore.
Fuck Batman.
All right, so I have some recommendations from people on. Let's do one from Threads. Comics and Design said Miles Morales and Static. Now, Static is Milestone, but Milestone is under DC, so I'll allow it. And yes, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that's a cool pairing. I like it.
Yeah, that'd be real good. Real good. Another one, Wolvie616 said Lex Luthor versus Doctor Doom. That'd be a cool one.
That's a cool one, but I don't know if Lex Luthor could really hold a candle. Do you think?
Yeah,
I
and
don't know.
I kind of want to stay away from villains. I think that's a whole nother episode where we talk about villain matchups that we would do
Yeah, they seem like
because they only did superheroes in this one.
that definitely seems like the it depends. Like, would it be an ego trip thing where they're fighting? Unlike superheroes, they seem to be villains seem to be able to communicate until they stab each other in the back.
Yeah, they work together way more, way more often. Yeah, that's funny. I never thought about that.
Hmm.
That's there. That we need to do an episode about that on how superheroes can work together better than, or supervillains can work together better than superheroes.
Yeah, at least in the beginning.
Yeah. DC Patrol said Venom and the Red Hood. That could be cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
That could be cool. CV Huey Nova, Young Nova, and Blue Beetle.
Yeah, that's a good. I like that. That's a good pairing.
Yeah, that would be fun. Let's jump over to the X Bird app.
X. Tweet tweet.
I don't know what the people are calling it now. There's some good ones over here too, man. Just there's so many options nowadays, and I feel like because you could do Punisher and Red Hood.
See, to me, that is a better pairing than Red Hood and Venom.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be cool. I think they did like one of those YouTube videos where they did the reenactments. I think it'd be cool to see.
Yeah, bunch of nerds.
Sentry versus Superman. I don't know. Like we know Sentry because we read comic books, but I don't know. I guess he's about to be in the movie, so more people will know him.
Yeah,
That could be a fun one. Superman would win though.
yeah. I feel like pretty easily. I mean, I don't know.
Because Sentry's crazy.
Yeah,
Captain Marvel versus Wonder Woman. This is Crew Frank over on the X Bird app.
I would love to see that one. Hey,
Captain Marvel versus Wonder Woman would be a good one. Thunderbolts versus the Suicide Squad. That would be a good one too.
mm-hmm.
I'd like it. I like it a lot. Oh, this is another one. So if we're doing time, Timothy DeAris said Justice Society versus the Invaders. So we have a versus battle in the past, and then we do it in the future. That could be pretty cool.
I don't know what the Invaders. What is that?
It's like the Captain America, Bucky. During the war, they had a team of
Like the
superheroes.
Wizard?
The original Human Torch.
And the Wizard.
The Wizard, that was in like the animated series version, but in the Invaders were Cap, Bucky, the original Human Torch. He had a sidekick called Toro, which is like a younger Human Torch, Namor, and I think that's it.
I thought the Wizard was in there, man. I'm pretty sure he is.
The Wizard and like those characters were part of the. I can't remember what they were called, but that was in the animated series.
I think you're wrong.
Yeah, we'll see.
He's right
We'll
here.
have to edit.
He was definitely in his own thing. The Wizard is a superhero appearing in American comic books, published by Marvel Comics. It first appeared during the period called the Golden Age of comic books.
Oh, he was. They say he was in the All Winners Squad and Liberty Legion. They do have him on the Invaders, but
And he was yellow, and he smelled like piss.
yeah. But I remember him from the All Winners Squad.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
The Wizard.
whatever. I don't know what that is either. Cool, man.
Come on, man. Give it the these are world famous teams.
Yeah, I guess so.
They got our boys through the hard times, man.
Yeah.
Constantine versus Doctor Strange, Ben Rush.
Yeah, that would be cool. I do feel like Constantine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel
That's how
like
you say it.
that's how some people say it. I think that he's a dirty player. I think he would probably win in that one, but that's cool. That's a good matchup. What
There
about
are tons
why not Doctor
of
Fate
good
and Doctor
recommendations.
Strange?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes more sense. They're very much the same character.
Yeah.
There are lots and lots of good matchups in these. I'll link both of these threads in the show notes so you guys can check them out. Uh, and feel free to add to them if you think of some characters that you would like to add.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Cool matchup.
But we're circling the drain. This was fun. I'm excited. We basically just wanted to talk about that old. It's been a long time. That old crossover. It's been a long time since I've even thought about it. And yeah, hopefully you guys pick up the omnibus. Hopefully Marvel will give us one to give away to you guys. That'd be cool.
Yeah, Marvel. They
Or
sent
DC.
they sent me
Whoever has the power.
Yeah, they sent me the pre-production print. They said I told them it looked pretty good. I
Yeah, it
signed
didn't
off
have
on
any
it.
paper. It didn't have any pictures on the inside. It was just like blank pages.
Yeah.
Draw your own.
Love it.
Simon, where can the people find you?
Yeah, I'm most active on Instagram and TikTok. Instagram more, but I'm trying to catch back up on TikTok. On both, you can find me as Sime, SIME _on _toast. Yeah. Dogs think it's good too.
Yeah. And you can find me just get on people's nerves mostly everywhere at Wednesday Poll. So check me out. Check Simon out. Let us know what you think. If you have any comments on the episodes, hit us up, subscribe, leave a nice review, do all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And
reviews help us out, I guess. I don't know how, but they do.
They make us feel good. I think they help us out right here.
Yeah. Make my heart grow.
In our hearts.
Yeah. Make my heart grow 3 sizes. And my penis.
We and also, if you want to watch these, this is the second time we've done it live. If you want to watch these episodes live and get all of the random stuff that we're gonna edit out.
Now I'm gonna accidentally edit that part. Oh well.
All the stuff that we edit out. Watch us live over on Patreon. I think I figured it out. So yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
See y'all.
Bye. Bye.